You know, Go far. Yeah.
Right. I'm going to talk into chicken in here. So I'm going to talk loud.
No, I went back to work at 8 ago.
He's ready to start.
So we're waiting on Mr. Klein.
My client, chop, chop.
Anyway, we appreciate everybody being here. Mark will introduce Duane.
Good deal. Welcome to Scars. Where are we at? May?
June.
The clock keeps moving. Why do I hear singing? I don't know why you hear singing.
Right, light.
Over there. Okay. I didn't hear singing. We're all wrong. It wasn't me. I don't know. He's pointing to his phone, so
We heard you couldn't carry a tune in a coffee cup.
I'm not gonna argue that one. Especially now with my voice shot. I'm Mark Klein in 5HR, and you are not. Welcome to the June festivities. Our esteemed speaker is single. He has an addiction. He has a problem. We most of us all do. Yeah, but he's a really good guy to compare yourself to, because I don't have this many Meshtastic radios yet. So yeah, so he's a lot worse than I am. Meshtastic is something that's really hitting popular. There's a whole group in Oklahoma City, if you want to get more on that, that's meeting, and I'm sure you'll talk about those guys. Tulsa's got a big group that's doing stuff. Okay. And Duane's going to enlighten us on the high level version of this. So if you want details, Tuesday night is what?
Night.
That's a good place to come. Duane was here last Tuesday to help get some people going. So come Tuesday nights and get it going. I will introduce Mr. Duane Angles, one of our ex-third herd guys in Oklahoma City. And now just a tornado victim like the rest of us.
Yes.
So welcome, Duane. Thank you.
Morning.
Morning.
As Mark said, we're not gonna get into the weeds on Meshtastic because we can, I don't wanna look out amongst you and then, see the weeds. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you an overview of what Meshtastic really is. And then we're gonna go over the types of radios that you have available to you for Meshtastic. How many already do Meshtastic? Okay. So what is Meshtastic? Well, how many of you have ever heard of ARDN, Amateur Radio Emergency Data Network? Okay. It's it's kind of like that, but what Meshtastic really is to pass messages to folks that are on the mesh. What's a mesh? A mesh is a group of radios at different places, distances that are on the same frequency, on the same mode, and they talk to each other. Yes. This is a product called Mesh Sense. How many of you do N3FJP for your login? He wrote this because somebody asked him to do it. So he's a Meshtastic guy and he wrote this application. What this does is it shows every mesh node that I'm hearing. And some of these are probably because if I see a node that's connected and that node that I'm connected to or has relayed for me has MQTT turned on. MQTT, to make it simple, is just internet connection for Meshtastic. So then he will send me out to wherever. Now, we're going to talk about the modes that these things can be configured on and what to do and what not to do with those particular nodes. But that's basically what Meshtastic is. It's I want to say I've seen the greatest distance on Meshtastic is like 87 kilometers. I don't know if I believe that or not.
How many miles is that?
Oh,
50.
oh, now you ask. Oh, good. We'll go with that one. 50 miles. I'm not sure I believe that or not. I certainly don't get that on any of this, but then again, those two contacts that were made that were 87 kilometers are on the top of 8,000-foot mountains. So, okay, maybe I can believe it. We don't have that, luxury here. I mean, the tallest building we have in town is the Devon building at 900 some odd feet, but still. They're not gonna let you put anything up there. Now, we are working on trying to get a node up on top of the Devon building. And some other high buildings. All the arguments.
Not the Devon.
No, the Devon. There's a gentleman in the Oklahoma Meshtastic group that's trying to get, he said he thinks he can get one out there. If he does, then he's the guy we need to know.
Yeah.
Because Devon, we tried to do Arden. We tried to put Arden up on Devon, and the gentleman that we had who works at Devon as an engineer went to the big boss and said, "Hey, we'd like to put an Arden node up there." And he, before he even got the word Arden out, he said, "Not no, but heck no." So, no joy there. So currently, all of the Arden stuff is up on the Sanders building, which is 393 feet tall. We are going to get one up there also. So, the Tulsa group has a very large Meshtastic group. And they have their own website that is Meshtastic centric. Anybody been on that website? It's pretty good. They have all sorts of things, how to configure the radio and all that stuff, and things that you shouldn't do and things that you need to do and so on and so forth. So before we do anything, let's do this. Within the radio, you have several options. Bluetooth, the channels, the default channel is called long fast, and it's called long fast because long fast is one of the, lack of a better terminology, a mode that you can put the radio in. Long fast is the default. Now, it has fairly good range and so on and so forth, and we'll go over that in a minute, but so long fast is the default. So as we go through all of these, I'm not going to go through most of this, but Bluetooth is just that. It allows the radio to connect so that you can put it in pairing mode with your laptop or your Android device and configure the radio. Because you can't, in order to get started with Meshtastic, it has to have firmware on it. So you need to do that. A lot of them that you buy today will already have the firmware on it. It may be a little outdated, but it will let you get up and running. So, channels. Your channels, you have a primary, a secondary. The primary, like I said, is long fast. And it does PSK, so it's pretty well secure. That term loosely. Device, this is the meat of what we're going to talk about today. These devices can be configured as client, client mute, client hidden, tracker, lost and found, I've never used that, sensor, TAC, which is the ATAC system, the TAC tracker, repeater router, and router lake. So, client mode, that's what most of you should configure your radio as client. Because as a client, you will participate in the mesh. And if you hear, let's say if I hear Mark on the mesh and he sends out a message, if I hear it, I will then rebroadcast it. Client mute, you can participate in the mesh, but you will not rebroadcast anything. And I'll tell you why that's the way it is. I have, at any one time at my house, I have 4 of these nodes running. And if they're all configured as client, they'll come up the works. Because the way Meshtastic works is that if I'm here and I transmit out, it's going to do a random thing and it will do it 3 times. So this first time, he may hear it first, and then he will rebroadcast that to everybody else out there. The next time I do it, this one may hear it, or that one may hear it. So, but as a client, everything you own as a client, then they're all gonna be competing and he may get this, but he will not rebroadcast it because these other two guys have already done it. Because if he hears a broadcast and he looks and he knows, and he sees that that broadcast has already been sent out, he will not do anything. So if you have, for instance, if all of these were configured as a client, I'm just up here talking to you. So what I do is put them in client mute. That way, they will hear everything that's going on, but they will never rebroadcast anything. So I have one client and everything else is client mute. Client hidden, the device line broadcast is needed for stealth or power savings. I've never used that, so I don't know. Tracker. I gotta love Amazon. I ordered this last night. It came in this morning at 7 o'clock. And this is called a Sense Cap. It is a Meshtastic tracker. You have one, or 2 or 3 or 4, where you have one there. So, I just configured it so that it could show up on the mesh, but, I don't know that much about it. Rick back there may be able to, I don't know, you use it a lot?
Just run it every day.
Okay. So, lost and found is broadcast locations as message to default channel regularly for assisting in device recovery. Sensor, that's also a sensor. You have yours running with sensor modes also, like temperature. This one has temperature and all that in it too,
Yeah.
and does air quality.
Whatever.
So, anyway, that will do that. So that's what's called it's a sensor, but it's also a tracker. The TAC is optimized for ATAC system communication, reduces routine broadcast. So it doesn't do a lot of broadcasting if you put it in the attack mode. But then again, if you put it in the attack mode or ATAC mode, then you're using that for something much different than everybody else is using it for. And then the attack tracker. Things that I really want to talk about are repeater and router. One of the things that people have a tendency to do, and I'm at fault with that too, is that you set these up, you put it in client mode, you're not hearing anything. Well, if you've got, like I originally had before I learned that you don't want to put everything in client mode, I wasn't hardly hearing anything. And that's because I had like 5 or 6 of these turned on, they're all client mode. Not good, not a good idea, but you're not gonna hear anything. Because one guy will get it, but then he's gonna go, oh, well, somebody's already broadcast that, so I'm gonna stay quiet. And they're all gonna do the same thing. So if they hear broadcast, they're not gonna rebroadcast it. So it's not good for client, so put them all, one client, the rest of them client mute. But a repeater or a router, specifically a router, you don't want to put a router up because the router is always going to be the first one that answers. And then he's going to be broadcasted out to everybody else. But you want the router up as high as you can get it. Putting a router in your house, like in my radio room, is not good for the network because it'll hose things up. Repeater, pretty much the same thing. The repeaters are infrastructure mode for extending the network coverage by always rebroadcasting packets once with minimal overhead, not visible in the nodes list. So you won't see it in your nodes list. The router, on the other hand, infrastructure mode for extending network coverage by always rebroadcasting packets once, but it's visible in the nodes list. Router late is an infrastructure node that will always rebroadcast packets once, but only after all other modes, ensuring additional coverage for local clusters. It is visible in the nodes list. So we have a router in Oklahoma City or two already. So we probably don't need any more, because we're not real big in Oklahoma City. We only have about maybe 60, maybe 70 nodes. And so we're not real big yet. But places like out in California, they have hundreds of nodes. And they have probably buku router. So what do we do? Well, let's take field day, for instance. We have guys that do CW during field day, but they're not with us in the same building. They may be out in their trailer that's 100 yards away.
Where they belong.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah, so, we need to communicate with them. We could do that via messaging with Meshtastic by putting a Meshtastic node in where the main guys are at, and then say 150, 200 feet outside, we put the other node with the CW boards. And we can send them a message and, of course, it's all predicated on the fact that they're watching their Meshtastic node saying, oh, I got a message. But
You got me.
you got me. So, it's kind of, can you do voice with Meshtastic? Anybody know? Rick? I don't think so. It's a messaging only, text message only kind of thing. Yes, sir.
Is there any way you can buffer it like they did in the 90s when you downloaded something?
That, right now, that's one of the things that I don't know. So I can't answer that for you, but bandwidth is not real great on these things, unlike Arden. Arden, you can do, we've got DMR repeaters linked to Arden and it works great, but I don't think you can do stuff like that with Meshtastic. So here is the role comparison, and it doesn't really tell you much more than what I've already said, but Meshtastic is, I got into Meshtastic about a year and a half ago, I guess, and I started out with one, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know what, I need this one too. And you know what? Oh, I think I need that one too. So I just kept going. The next thing you know, I got 10 or 11 of these things. Here, I got probably 4 or 5 more back at the house that are duplicates. And so let's go over the different radios. Okay, which board should I choose? The rack Meshtastic starter kit, which is an RAK 4631. That's what this is, and that's what this is. And this one. These I put together. This I bought, and this is also, no, it's not. But these are very popular. They work very well. They are easy to configure. Well, most of it's easy to configure. Then you have, which is a Heltec V3. And this is the Heltec V3. And this is a Heltec T114. They're okay. V3s are what most people start with. How many of you have a V3 that do Meshtastic? That was my first one too. But since then, I've gone away from the V3s and actually went to the RAK 4361s. This is a V3 also. And this is a V3 also. Actually, this is yeah, it is the V3. But the V3s are great. They work wonderful. But they're not as robust as, let's say, an RAK 4361. The V3s, in order to put a GPS in these things, you have to do some surgery. You have to solder the GPS module into it using the pins on the side of it. And after this presentation, you can come up here and I'll open one of these. Make one.
So like these three on the far left, your far right. Financially, what are you looking at for those?
If you buy one from, what's the name of that company? I'll get back to you.
Okay.
If you buy one, this is like $90.
Okay.
But if you buy just the radio, go on Etsy, and Etsy has all of these 3D printed cases for them to include the switch so that you can go through and go through the screens. Cases are probably $10, and the rest of it's probably $20-25. So this is the best way to go if you're into, doing your own thing and trying to make things fit. This is pretty simple. This is the neatest one I have. It has. This is a cell phone. It has no SIM card in it, but it does run Android. So you go, okay, so where's that coming? Well, here's the Meshtastic device. It will connect to the cell phone via Bluetooth, and then the cell phone runs Android app or Meshtastic. And you can, from there, you can go crazy because now you have an internet connection. So this is like $109 as it sits. The other one, like this one, is just the case was like, I think, $6. The radio is like $12. And this is a little tiny thing. What I like about these is, it's got a clip on it, so you can just clip it to your belt or whatever and walk around them. You've got Meshtastic mobile. This one doesn't have that. Now the cat's meow. This is a station G2. This is the most powerful one. Everybody pretty much uses this for their routers. Station G2.
Powerful in radio or powerful in computer?
Radio. I mean, this thing will transmit probably. These things only, like this thing, power out maybe 500 milliwatts. Maybe. This thing, about 4 watts. You say 4 watts, what's the limit? Well, as an amateur radio operator, there is a configuration in here that basically says, are you a licensed amateur radio operator? And if you click that button and turn it on, then you can use, if you're crazy, well, let's look at a 100-watt amplifier for this thing. But you can run 5, 6, 7 watts with this thing. And once you do that, you turn your licensed amateur radio thing on, it disables encryption. Now, We gotta remember that. As an amateur radio operator, if you wanna just have one of these and you're not gonna pass any, and I quote, any amateur radio traffic over it, you're good to go. Because once you, yes, sir.
Dumb question. Do you have to be a ham to use Meshtastic?
No, you do not. That was why the developer is a ham. And he knew the rules. So he made it so if you turn that on and you say, yep, I'm a ham radio operator, then it disables encryption, so you don't ever have to worry about doing anything that's not cool. That is not cool.
And that uses UHF 433 something.
915 megahertz in the United States.
But the ham, you can also get them in the ham band. You don't want to because you don't get the big match, right?
Right, because in Europe, they use 433. And the key here is if you're on 433 meg, the only person you're gonna talk to is whoever else you're talking to, and he has his configured for 433 megs. But in the United States, these all come, once you've configured it to the United States, it'll come with 915 megs. So these are all 915, so I don't worry about it. Yes,
For all of the ones in here that actually use Apple instead of Android, can it work on Apple?
yes. I think.
I'm Android too, but I mean, just.
You got one, right?
Apple has a Meshtastic app in iOS.
Okay, so that's cool.
I verify that.
Because I have an Android device and I have this specifically so that I can connect to these things. I also have an iOS device. But the iOS configuration under Meshtastic doesn't have everything that the Android version has. So, is it a big deal breaker? No. You do the same thing, it's just there are some things that show up. And the reason it does is we're all familiar with Apple. You don't put any application out on the Apple website apps unless Apple has already approved it. It ain't gonna happen, okay? Now, that's why some of the things that Android does aren't showing up on Apple because Apple has not yet approved it. So, to each his own. I use both of them. But typically I use the Android device to configure everything. Okay, let's get back to the rack 4361 is the chipset is the NRF, and there won't be any tests, so you don't have to get anxious. Is the NRF S2840, which is different from the Heltex and the T113s. They're ESP 32. So we have a seed, and that's the name of the group that has the track with it. And like I said, I don't know much about that at all. I ordered it last night about 7:30 and it came this morning at 7 o'clock. So I love it. So this device, I don't know much about it, so I'm not going to fill you with junk. So we'll just move on. The Heltec Mesh Node 114, it's a little easier to configure the GPS because it has a space with a 2-pin connector that you can attach a light 2-pin connector GPS to. So you don't, it's not any soldering you have to do. And this, I believe, is that. And I think this is also. But quite frankly, the only reason I bought all of these is so I could figure out which way I wanted to go. I don't have a Nano G2 Ultra, but I do have a Station G2, and I said that is the Cadillac. Then there's also the Liligo T-Beam. This is a T-Beam, I have another T-Beam that's at the house. The T-Beam are good ways to go. This one does have a GPS inside. Yeah. So, then that covers all the radios pretty much. And they're all, with the exception of the B3, the B3s are good radios, don't get me wrong. But they just don't have the umph that the T114s have, or the RAKs or the G2. So if you're looking and if you're looking at wanting to buy a radio, I would say go the B3 route first. Get familiar with it, make sure it's something you want to do, make sure that you can send a message to somebody. And then if you like it and want to get something that's better, go for it. And we have solar node. Now this is an RAK 4361, and it's solar. My plan is when I get my new tower up, tornadoes are bad news. I'm gonna put it up on top of the tower, and this will be my solar. So it'll be on all the time because there's a battery in here, and the solar panel recharges the battery, so I don't have to mess with it. Now, outside Meshtastic devices. How many of you know K5IV, Big Steve Johnson? I don't know where he found these things, but he found these things somewhere. He bought like 20 of them.
He found them at a bin store,
That's
one
right.
of those, like Amazon overflow things.
That's right. Well, he said, I've got some. And I said, okay, fine. I met him at the car wash that he maintains just up the street from me. And I bought 3 of them. I sold one to WD5G, and I have the other 2. The other one I have in my house, and it's standing up in the corner. This is going up on my tower. And this will be, it's like 6 gain, pretty slick.
collinear.
Yeah.
Worked well.
And it has a, it comes with a lightning arrestor. It also comes with cable, because the connection on the bottom of this is,
That's in.
end connector. And then you have an end connector here, and then it has an adapter for here,
Good wind load.
for SMA, yeah. But I don't know what they, I don't, do you remember how much he was asking for them?
$20 when I got.
20 bucks a piece, I think.
That sounds right.
I got it.
He bought like a crop load.
Do they have any left still?
I don't know, but if he does, you better get beat him before I do, because
I'll be back, hold on.
See you, Mark. The T-beams and the T-Echo, I don't have the T, anybody here have a T-Echo? I don't have one. And I'm reluctant to buy one. Mainly because I've already got enough of the crap that I don't need. I also have a wireless stick, like, those things are next to nothing. It's about getting old. And you can get 3D printed cases for it, but there won't be any GPS in it. So it will participate, and you can send messages, but if you're out and about with it, it's not going to support your GPS wise. All of these will do that if they have a GPS in them. So. Let's see if I can go here. talk about some of the software that's been built for these things. This is, like I said, this is Meshsense. And it was written by NCFJP, who does logging software, which is what I will use. But it will tell you, for instance, that AA5KD WISP block 2, that's the solar thing. Right here. That's this one. No, that's the next one down. The other WISP block is this guy. 073 Charlie, I believe. No, that's my tracker. So there's the tracker showing up already, that little thing. And then B302, this is the B302 here. And it will show you all these things that are out there. For instance, Buford, big red R, what do you think that stands for? Router. So that's the router. He will get all of the stuff first. Now he's sitting on just north of Tinker Air Force Base. And so he is a router. There's another one out there too, but it's not showing up here. OKC East Solar, how many of you know WD5G? That's his node. So you go, wow, are you seeing all this stuff clean out in Choctaw? Nope. But what do we talk about? The router. Or all of this stuff connected to it. I'm seeing maybe somebody local, like I have a node in my Jeep. And it may be connecting to the Jeep node, and the Jeep node is getting it to somebody who's running MQTT, i.e. it has an internet connection. These aren't running MQTT, but the one at the house that I have is connected to my internet, is running MQTT. So if somebody is seeing me and they're running MQTT, that's how I'm seeing all this other stuff. So, some things that, let's see. Meshsense has a map. It doesn't look like it's showing. How do I minimize the top bar up here?
Just grab it, and move it out of the way.
Oh, there it is. Not showing a map. Anyway, it has a map. So once it finds all of the nodes up at the top, there'll be it should have come up with a map already, but it hasn't done that. But it will show a map of where all these nodes are located. Now, Meshtastic also has an app, but it's not quite as good as Meshsense. Let's see if we can take a look at that. I minimize that also.
Or move it. Here's what we do.
Now this meeting is being recorded, or can I just click OK?
Just say, okay.
Okay, great.
And Steve has no more antennas. We changed. Not even one for me. He's looking though.
Okay.
No.
Okay. These are the meshes that are showing up on a Norman, Edmund. You'll notice that there's not much out towards the west. The Oklahoma City Meshtastic group is trying to get folks west of I-35 to come up on Meshtastic. Why? The larger the mesh, the better off we're gonna be able to communicate between each other. So, as you can see, that no, you can see Edmund has one. The sad part about this is you can't double click on any one of those to figure out who it is. So it just basically shows you the mesh sense global map. But it's interesting to note that, well, you can see all the, this is what if you look at, this is what my house looks like currently right now. So I have a TBMS, which is a T-beam Supreme, which looks like this, but it's a little bit more powerful than the regular T-beam. The T-beam 1 and the T-beam Supreme. So, and then there are nodes that I have no idea because you don't know who that is. If you decide to get into Meshtastic, when you get to naming it, you can give it a name. So, my T-beam Supreme, TBMS, you give it a long name, and then you give it a short name. Because the short name is what shows up on maps like this. So, when you see TBMS, that's my T-beam Supreme at my house is connected to the unit. And it stays on that way all the time. And it's got MQTT running so that anybody that has MQTT running, I'm gonna see. So.
That's like a bridge.
It is.
Internet
MQTT
bridge.
is an internet bridge. It's kind of like Arden, Arden, you connect to the internet to an Arden node, but, like I said, there is a router here that BFRT. That's what I'm naming here.
Yeah, just use your mouse.
That would have to be
Well, mine.
it's called easily. It's got right here, Buford, he's a router. So he's fairly close to me because this is me. Here, all that's me. So I see Buford. Tulsa has a router, and so does Eden. And we have a router. We actually have two routers. One is in North Oklahoma City, and then one is back down here in southeast Oklahoma.
I just go to Norman, see what's here. Show the Norman bunch. See if we know those guys. But that's huge for Meshtastic. For me is all these people get excited about it that aren't hams, and then they realize, oh, they can't do much, so they become hams. Such a great advertisement.
Yeah.
So Bob, that's Bob on the left, I think. Bob Meyer.
TBR2,
Yeah,
and who's JAPP?
don't know. We need to go get him. That's good.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, you don't have to be a ham to do this. But it helps in the fact that you can run more power than the average Joe Blow. Because you're a ham. Sleep. What I need to talk about. Oh. How many of you are really into Meshtastic? Unlike me.
Oh my.
This is my,
Is this the offering time?
this is my, all of this is Meshtastic parts. So, you ask, well, what does the GPS look like? There's a GPS module. There's another GPS module.
Do some of those radios have GPS built in?
Yes. For instance, this is a, 4361 West block rack, 4351. This has everything you need right here to put a Meshtastic piece together. And all you need to do is a case. Yes, sir.
I forgot, you might have said, what's the GPS do for the protocol? It's allow you to, cause like normally you pair it with your phone and you use the location tracker for that. If you're off network entirely and just using Meshtastic to talk to other nodes, it allows you to know where the other person is.
Yes.
What was the question?
GPS,
Okay.
how does it get out?
Or what is the reason for having the protocol?
The reason for having GPS,
Yeah,
so that, a lot of guys, like hunters. Hunter A will have one of these, Hunter B will have one of these. And they're out in the field somewhere, you know, hundreds of yards apart, they can message each other. And they know where the other guy's at because he's running GPS. That's why.
but it doesn't have to help with routing or anything because.
No,
Doesn't help with routing, no.
no, that's not. Has nothing to do with that, matter of fact. It's specifically for just grabbing your location via GPS and sending it out in a broadcast so that everybody knows where you're at. That's why you know we're on the map for all these guys. They're running GPSs on the key. Now you can hard code your GPS coordinates. Like I hard code the ones at my house because it's never gonna leave my house. Yeah. Well, if it does, then I have sold all of these.
We have a couple guys in the club that work with the dogs out of McLean County. And they have put a unit on the dog collars. So that as the dogs run through areas, they can get, signals back in areas that do not have GPS or cell phones or those kind of things. They're working with that, to track it.
Yes,
So you said non-hams can get into this and ham? Can the non-ham connect to a ham and then rebroadcast?
why? Because even though a ham was part of the guys who came up with this, he knew that that's not what he really wanted, is to just offer it to hams. He wanted everybody to have it. So he put that thing in there, so if you tell your configuration that you are a ham, it turns encryption off. So encryption is on these boxes by default.
So I'm coming back in after 20 years. What about the requirement for the ham to be in control? A ham to actually be in control of the broadcast?
If you don't put in here that you are a ham,
Right.
it doesn't care.
If the non-ham connects to you and you're a ham, then I'm rebroadcasting at the higher power. But somebody else is actually sending the message.
But you're the one doing the transmission, not them.
Right,
Unlike-
but I'm not I may not be sitting there in control of the radio.
Doesn't matter,
Okay, that's my point.
because it's not a ham radio, okay?
Well, even if it is turned on,
Yeah,
but it's on 915, it's not on a ham band.
okay,
Yeah, so it doesn't matter,
all right.
so,
It just lets you know more powerful.
yes, that's basically all it does.
And then with,
This is public, that's the public band, whatever the 915 is called these
Well, we
days.
share it, it's just, we got something, it's shared with other services.
Yes.
So this 915 is pretty much in the middle.
Yeah.
90 something to 933.
But it's the vast
Weather
majority.
stations.
yeah.
And there was talk,
Stations and
There was talk of us losing the 900 megahertz. I don't, where's that at now? Do you know?
Still good and solid until we get those.
Doge.
Don't even know.
Wait a minute, he quit.
Still,
Still open. This is what it looks like when you buy out. This is a V32 or a V32, and this is a T114. So at the end of this, everybody come up here and look and see what it looks like. And
who's the guy that built data on Star? Dr.
No, see.
Does this give you Dr. Singh kind of ideas? I remember that now. You didn't sing? Yeah, no need to sing, that's it.
There you go. You Nudie right there. There's this cohort right there.
There's a new.
By the way, tell me where you got your cases, the whole little part.
It's ETSY.
Okay.
They're all on there, and matter of fact, a lot of the guys that make these cases are also hands, and so they do a lot, but.
You can probably get the black case and carry it all apart than an Harbor Freight material.
What, black cases?
The ones you got on.
Oh, these.
The tackle
Yeah,
box.
yeah, the tackle box.
That's pro.
That pro, yeah.
Harbor Freight.
Actually, every club, I'm also a Kappa member, and every club meeting, they always do giveaways. And especially at the Christmas party every year. Well, that's where half of these came from, is the Christmas party. These are pretty slick. Are there any questions? Like I said, I wanted just to make this presentation so that we all understood what Meshtastic behavior was. Yes, sir.
Yeah. From the sound of what you're describing, it's a low power network, like a cellular network, that through what MQTT, you can go into the internet, kind of like DMR can. I'm assuming these networks are named, so you can basically connect to any other network in the world through the internet.
As long as everybody in the world is using long fast for their mode. There are others, for instance, city is that, it's out in California somewhere. They have like 180 plus nodes out there. And they found out by experimentation that long fast doesn't work for them. Because of all the broadcasting that these things do, it jams up the network. So they have gone to short fast or whatever. There's one down there that they've started using, and it helps them out. Doesn't go quite as far, but then again, they're on mountaintops all over most of their nodes, and they don't need it.
So if you started a short fast network here though, through an MQTT hookup, a node that had the internet, you could actually contact the mesh network in California.
Yes, but you may be biting off more than you want to chew, because now you're gonna see everybody in the whole world that's on MQTT.
Well, that was the idea.
Well, not necessarily. Yes, it'll work that way. But locally is what you're really, for instance, Arden, Amateur Emergency Data Network was not designed to connect to the internet. They wanted it to be a standalone mesh network. So you'll find that those out in California, if they do have an internet connection, it's very closely guarded. And they're not letting everybody use it. Because it was designed to be that. So, for instance, the reason why Norman wanted to get Arden, was just in case their network went down for whatever reason and needed a way to get out. And
Yeah,
that's
but what I was asking was, could it be set up like a DMR setup, a last mile, first mile communication system?
Yes. Sure can. Difference being between that and Arden is it's lower power than Arden. So, yeah, but it can be.
I found it interesting that everybody could participate, not just hands.
Exactly.
As long as I guess you're operating the 500 milliwatt as a non-hand. Is that correct? Or?
Yeah, or less, yeah. Yeah. The only one that comes default, this one will do 5 watts right out of the box. You have to configure it to do that. But it'll do that, 4 or 5 watts. That's why that's a good Meshtastic device for being around. Any more questions that I can answer? Yes, sir.
What sort of like setup skills do you need? Do you need like soldering stuff, or is it all just kind of plug and play?
If you're not gonna put a GPS in something like a V3, you don't even need to know how to spell something. So, but there are other nodes here that you're gonna need to do that with. But, yes, sir.
Is the website you were thinking about Meshnology?
No,
Okay.
no, the website, the main website that you guys wanna know about is this one. And it is meshtastic.org.
And to expound on the solder story, Jason, one of our other members, has these devices in his chicken coop that has a data out that will open up the chicken coop feed.
Yeah.
While he's in a plane going somewhere, you know, running around the world with something else. And he has one in his mailbox that watches the light coming in. And when the light comes in, that means the mailman has opened the door.
Yep.
So he's got mail. So you can expand them, put temperature sensors and.
It has temperature sensors, air quality sensors, all those, and that's, you know, pretty slick. Has a light sensor and all that stuff, so like you said, when he opens up the mailbox, it senses the light.
Who's got chickens?
Wow. Yeah. Oh,
I was looking for eggs.
so meshtastic.org is a site. It has docs on there. It has anything you want to know about Meshtastic. And
Is Meshsense downloadable from that site?
no, just go look up Meshsense and N3FJP on his website, you can download it. But Meshsense is really good because it has a global map, which is this one. And anybody that's running Meshtastic will show up on the global map. Yes, sir.
On your map, and when you're showing your node, yeah, there was a line going through your node down somewhere.
Oh, it's tracker.
That just shows
One got away.
that because I'm running MQTT, that's probably the first node that acknowledged me. Now, that may change tomorrow.
Well, I mean,
Any other questions that I can answer? Yes, sir.
This kind of as a clarification, so. As the license operator, if I'm running the station. And then I give, say, some to my kids. We're able to communicate.
Yep.
Off that protocol, even
Yep.
though they're not.
Right. Because this is not, the key here, this is not a strictly an amateur radio deal. It's anybody in the whole world can use this. So, no, the only reason that the hams like it is because A, they can run higher power. So if you wanted to run 10 watts and you had a 10-watt amplifier, that you could figure out how to make that work with this thing, and you have 10 watts, whereas everybody else in here who, you know, only running maybe 500 ohms. So yeah, it doesn't matter. Because as soon as you tell it, yep, I'm a licensed ham, the only thing it does is it turns encryption off. It's the only thing it does. So it does not matter. Because they want to make sure that, A, if you're using your call sign in here, like,
And it lets you use higher power, right?
yes, And that's the main reason for
So if you are a ham and you say, no, I'm not an amateur, you can use encryption, but no high power.
right.
Like in here.
And like I said, encryption is automatically turned on when you buy the thing. So if you're a ham and you're gonna use your call sign, part of your message group, you're gonna be illegal because you haven't, unless you have told it that I am a ham, a licensed ham, and it will turn the encryption on. You'll be transmitting your call sign encrypted. Not good.
If you were to address a message to somebody that was a non-ham, then you would use their three-letter short name that they gave, or how would you?
Yeah, it's not 4 letters, but yeah. Um.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I just clicked on AA5KD TV. And if I go here to send. It sent that message to TV here. So. It's that simple.
Does it store and forward? Say that one was off. When you turn it on, does it have that message? You've never turned them off, have you?
Yeah, no, but it does have store and forward, yes.
Now, that message went through the internet or it went direct,
Direct, because I'm sitting right here.
but it could go through the internet to basically.
Yeah, if you send a message to
If
Dave,
you had a device that you knew was out of your range, like I'll almost guarantee you that I'm not seeing this last one down here. I'm not seeing this because of RF. There's no way, because I know where he is. He's out off of I-40, south of I-40 Choctaw Road. I'm not gonna see him from in here, number one, because this is a big Faraday cable. But I'm probably going through MQTT to get him if I send him a message, yes.
And it automatically does that. If you're within a node that has MQTT, it will automatically.
Yeah. And you can. We'll do something else for you guys. It's not what I got.
yeah, you're out.
Come up here after it's over and I'll show you Meshtastic. And how you can do all of that. But if there's no other questions. Thanks for being attentive. And if you got any other questions after this is over, come see me.
We've had him here by this clock at 1:45.
8 minutes.
Where this coming in?
That'll do a business meeting. Business meeting.
It left about 15. And then have everyone tell us their name and their phone line. And then.
Yeah.
Bring your umbrella.
Yeah.
You're gonna go to lunch. We go to lunch in February.
It wasn't bad.
Technically it is, because that is kind of stuff to do with him, but it doesn't have to do with him. I mean, they can one thing on the radio. There's one called antenna, different kinds of antennas. They done Faraday tapes one time. I mean, they do a lot of different things. I like it. I think that's why I like this. And I got his email address.
Thanks for the help. We're doing great.
Yeah, that's the very last one down here is the web page. You go through and tell everything that. I'll have something all day. Keep going. It was so bad after that last meeting with Anita. That guy told me that Gary's supposed to start at the radio. I almost emailed him.
And the money, we go shopping.
That's it. This one. But I know it's coming up Saturday. I know I am. Me. Jerry. The guy that was at the door. Giving out the prize. Is he one from Texas? Yeah, so he's.
Oh, did I ever tell you my call sign? I got in.
Yeah. Like the call.
Yeah.
You never did answer.
You never did?
So I looked it up. LJ5.
LOS.
I'm killing
We're
it.
thinking about what abbreviation LOS could be. They're thinking AJ5 loss of signal, AJ5 lots of signal. There's a lot you can do with an LOS.
And like after this meeting,
I like it. It's easy to remember too.
they
The way you're supposed to say it to make it easier is kind of confusing to me though. Like Kilo, Juliet, 5, and Oscar,
and then
Syria.
again,
I'll have to memorize that.
antenna one,
That does exactly what.
power one, power two, power
That's
whatever.
pretty good call for.
Power three, I don't know how they call
Yeah,
it. Siren.
I like it. I've already memorized it pretty much, so that's nice.
And people just volunteer to go out.
But I can't wait to have a ham radio set up in my room on my desk. If he lives so close to our meter, it should be able to access it pretty easily.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we have to get with them.
Now it's just to get my general license and then the extra license.
Don't, they do. It's not. They need
Where's the tower base?
Power base for McFlowers Tower.
See what.
We're thinking, right? You know how we have a parking lot in that corner? We're gonna cut out a piece of the concrete.
Not right at the roof.
Difference between
Right
that.
up right on the peak,
You know.
in the corner. So that way we save 2 spots in the parking lot.
Duane.
Right.
Y'all be on.
But I'm pretty sure we plan on digging out a concrete, like a hole, but I'm not sure it starts to rain. But once we do figure out when to do it, I'm not ready. Wanting me to dig 8 feet deep clay, coastal digger, I'll be out there coastal digging up 8 foot deep hole. But I'm excited for the day I get to use it on HF. Come day.
You know, but we. I was fixing to do before I moved out.
Oh, yeah, I didn't spend a single dime. All my father's investing, that's my father, at least. So what have you been up to?
Same old stuff, not all I ever do.
Yeah, going to the weather nets and things, going to the weather nets and things.
Whoever the president. I
Back
don't know.
then, since I have at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I try to check into that every day. In the areas that tonight, I look into that.
Yeah.
I recently got a
I need to get with whoever the president is and find out if we're okay.
Oh, yeah?
Somebody come in and talk to us.
Wednesday night.
If I can do that, then I'm gonna. And I'm gonna say, okay. I'm not gonna do that.
40 for Peter.
This,
Yeah.
we need
Four, and I went to
this was for the first one.
inside the house.
I need to touch everything that.
Yeah.
Because they're not a. President,
Yeah.
if I just have somebody, I don't want to just, okay, there's yeah, his name's Mark.
That's impressive. Oh, yeah. You do a lot of siren night, don't you?
Okay, let's grab our seats and we'll get going.
That makes sense, all the storms. Wouldn't want anyone misinterpreting it for a tornado. Nice talking to you.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
like.
your sister's.
All right, good morning.
I'll try to.
They don't.
Work on that.
I mean, I'll probably have
We
better
got a
chance of
lot of
fixing
people
my
that-
sister's
we got people
boyfriend.
Going to Texas to HRO, John, can't remember his call sign, he's taking his daughter down there, and we've got guys doing search and rescue stuff, and then we got people all over the place, so. Anyway, I appreciate everybody being here. Again, I'm Mike, KD5 ASN, and we're just gonna introduce everybody. We'll start online. We got Carl, KD5 SSW. Stephen, KD5 BYB. And Ken, KA5 HFE. And we'll start over here with Mr. Mark.
Mark, N5HZR. Mark, N5AZQ.
Kim, N5OP.
Chris, K5 JZN.
Peter, KA5 COI.
Don, KJ5, HFN.
Truly, KD5 EW.
KC5 IFM. Rick, AI5RJ.
Mary, no call sign, but growing a future member.
James, KT5 LXV.
Levon, KG5GW.
Jeff, KD5 CKK.
David, KI5QMF.
Gail, AI5RO.
Roger, KG5 OSB.
Al, AE5L. Larry, W5LHG.
Rodney, KF5 UZA.
Bill.
AEF, 85F.
5K and 5NPV.
Ken, K8WGE.
KI5GQU.
Brett.
KF5 CWJ.
AB5HXT, Mike.
Lisbeth, W5LIZ.
Jenny, N5 DEA.
Caleb, KJ5 LOS.
Thomas, AG5IJ.
Dean, KK6 IPL. Mike, M5 SOL. Todd, KA0 IKE.
Yeah, AG5
All right, I think, we got Davey.
David, KD5DGD.
Kenny, WA6DKD.
All right, I'm glad everybody's here. Thank you all so much. And, did anybody get interested in Meshtastic? I'm gonna say, I wasn't interested at all before the meeting.
Now you got two on order.
I thought, it'd probably be a good meeting, but I wasn't interested. Yeah, I'm gonna go shopping when I go.
All right, let's start off with the treasury, secretary minutes, guy.
Last month, we had 49 members in person and 4. All right, last month we had 49 members present and 4 via Zoom. Minutes and treasurer's report was read. Showed 262 in income, 1944 in checking, 26,164 in savings, and 153.72 in petty cash. And there was some money moved from checking to savings. VE report, we had 1 new tech, 1 upgrade to general, and 1 extra. Core ARRL, marathon went well. Messages going to everyone. They were going to try and keep everyone in the same spots next year were sent out. And there are plans to have videos made of setting up the med tents and how to do the traffic exchanges. And holidays coming up at the end of July. For Peter, on tech committee, Peter's working well. We had a program on tropospheric impacts on radio wave propagation, which was pretty good information. And that was pretty much it. The meeting ended at 10:37.
All right, thank you very much. And Larry, if you would, treasurer report, please.
Okay, I've got the balance sheet up, we have 1,779 in checking. 26,179 in savings and 89.72 in petty cash. So the memberships have slowed down, most people have paid, so we're into the point that we start having common net losses, so. The big expense this month was yearly payment on the PO box, which was $188, so net loss was $114.78.
All right, thank you, Larry. And Ed, if you can cover the VE and report and technical committee.
Okay. The VE report, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Shows you we had the session of the night, have 4 new techs, all but one been assigned their call sign. That one I sort of expect today, from what I've seen on it. Caleb is here in the room, it's one of our new techs. Some of our other ones are off on training. I'm pretty sure Caitlin's out there with the dogs and probably the range. It's gotta be a whole lot of fun. Then now our next session was field day at 2 o'clock. So anybody wants to test, you know, we've got field day coming up. And then July 3rd, we'll have our usual monthly session. Tech wise, repeaters are up and doing fine. We do have this wonderful weather. And if you're like me, I'm surrounded by very tall trees that are very wet all the time, so that has caused challenges.
Since you would get the last one to cover the sign that.
Sure, no, welcome to that trend. Siren dance right now, the cities of Moore, Norman, and Newcastle are not testing today. We have not heard from Noble. I'll send out an email if I hear from Noble. Michael will potentially hear from them, but I'm expecting no tests yet today. We are always looking for more monitors. If you're interested in using your radio skills and license for helping us monitor the city's sirens, Moore's got 44, Norman's got 69, Newcastle's got 5 or 6, Noble is growing and getting some, so we need people. We also need some net controls if you're interested. We could always use more net controls. So if there are questions there, let me know. Duane, KK5IO, right now leads the charge, and he'll gladly answer any questions also.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you. All right, Mark, Cora and ARRL.
Okay, I'm still in denial, it's still May, but it's really not. July, end of July is gonna be the Oklahoma City Ham Fest, last weekend in July. That is a place to buy stuff, sell stuff, learn stuff. And see new friends or old friends. Well, I guess we're all old friends. Any friends.
Yeah.
Yes, so those of us that have friends, that's a good place to meet them. Only friends, that's not my OnlyFans account, that's a different one, that's not the same thing. That's gonna happen, Friday and Saturday at Oklahoma City Community College. Up there, tickets are available online at hamholiday.com. And two things, one is we got a really cool prize, for those of you that like Yaesu, it's a Yaesu FT101 Delta, is that the right answer? FT101D, it's about a $3,200 radio. Very high dollar radio. We're selling 300 to $20 tickets, so you can get a $20 ticket for that raffle to win that radio. Hoping that those tickets, I mean, they have always sold out. But those tickets, that's a really nice radio this year. And you know, it's not an icon, but it's a nice radio. It's just kidding. But those tickets are also available online at the hamholiday.com stuff. And fresh off the press, brand new, hasn't even gotten on the website yet, is Tim Duffy is our speaker for the banquet this year. He will be around for the Hamfest. Tim and DX Engineering and ICOM, I don't know who the great benefactor is, but out of that group, they sent me an ICOM 7300 to be used as a raffle prize for the banquet. So buying your banquet ticket gets you a prize or gets you a chance to win that radio. As I told somebody yesterday that called, you know, you could win the 7300 and the Yaesu at the same time. I'll buy the 7300 off you if you win. Okay, we'll do that. September is another one in Enid. October, there's another one in Hamfest in Ardmore. We'll get to those both as later time moves on, but get your tickets now. Everything's going well for Oklahoma City. We do, the ARRL is still moving on. They're doing a lot of stuff. There's a brand new newsletter that's out. If you can get it on, you can get it online if you're a member. There's really 4 still great newsletters: the QST, the Contest Journal, the Experimenters page, and then the one I like, which is On the Air. And it takes all these cool subjects and goes start to finish as if you're a new person. So it's aimed at the new people, but it's really a great way. Like if they go any antenna build, they'll tell you how to solder a connector on the end of the cable. They'll tell you how to build the cable and push it forward. All those are available online for members. So that's the ARRL piece. Elmer Nights, Tuesday nights, still popular as ever. Feel free to come. You don't need reservations. You know, I'm sure you've all heard that you have to have reservations to get in, right?
No.
Oh, my.
Standing room only.
Yeah, my lead didn't get out. No, yeah, it is pretty much standing. There's a good crowd. We'll have 30 or 40 people in here on Tuesday night. So Tuesday night, 6:30 to 9. Great place if you want to go talk to Meshtastic. If you're really confused now and you want to learn where to go the next step, that's a great place to learn about it. Last week, I don't know what we did. We had a stack of different programming radios and projects going with other people, antennas coming up. The DMR net meets Monday evenings, 8:15. And we now have 3 really great net operators in Maine.
Right.
We have 4 really great net control operators that will run through that. It is a statewide net that gets national people checking in. We got people from California, Wyoming, Texas, Illinois that check in fairly frequently. That's 8:15 on 3140 Oklahoma statewide. If you want to get involved with any more of that stuff, feel free to holler. There's tons more, but that's all I get time for, right? Yes.
What about Wufong? Sorry, Wufong.
Oh, that's true. Wufong at the, anybody know what Wufong is?
It's a Chinese name.
It's a Chinese, it is not lunch, Davey, no. You three that are from our Ada, I'll talk slower for you. Oh wait, Gail will translate. Wufong has been it's been a silent meeting out of the ARRL stuff. They do a little presentation, then you get inducted into the group of the people that are members of Wufong. The Wufong is well, it's supposed to be, well, except secret societies mean something really different now. That's back to my OnlyFans account, but we'll talk about it. Secret, the idea is, a little playful thing to go for it. The national has chosen not to continue it, but we've got a really good, strong following here in Oklahoma. Does those, plays or skits. It'll be after the banquet, it's free. Open to ARRL members, show up if you're a member. It's always before midnight. It is, and everybody said it was at midnight. I said, no, it says it's before midnight. Let me tell you, noon is before midnight. But yeah, it'll be at 8:30 after the banquet on that piece. Sign up on the hamholiday.com if you want to get there. You get a little cute pin that goes with it, a little certificate that says I'm a member of Wufong. And of course, the secret handshake.
All right.
That's right. So that's it is, yeah, we are restricted. We must, there must be hands to get in. So yeah, I guess we are.
They have smoke coming out of the chimney when they blow.
Shh. Don't tell all the secrets. That's right. But that's a fun piece that's there. There are a couple of actors in this room, or actori. It's actor and actress, I guess, actori. In the room that are gonna do that part of that stuff. It's a cute little skit. We've done it for a while. We'll continue to do it until we get told to stop from headquarters, but right now, we're in good shape. Our division director said, keep going, have fun. What else? Oh, we got Dean, hold on, one more.
Yeah, is the ARRL still supporting Flux by giving them part of the new member or renewal member fees?
They will give part of the new member fees to them. That's not on the website yet.
That was my next question.
I knew it. But yes, you renew through us.
So how do you go about making sure they get their fee? Then do you enter the club data somewhere?
We have to do paperwork.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That was
4 pages.
Yeah.
Firstborn, second. Yeah, exactly. That it?
One comment on the ham holiday, it's coming up next month. If you've got junk, gear that's in antennas and stuff, and closets and so forth, you want a table, you need to go out there to hamholiday.com and get you a table now. They're going fast. And you need to get you the table, or if you have ham friends that keep telling you they got all kinds of ham gear and stuff, tell them, hey, get on there and get a table, bring it. The more ham gear that's at a ham fest, the better.
Question.
Yeah.
So when you buy the tickets, you get I bought tickets and I haven't received anything.
Well, okay, it'll tell you, they'll send an email, PayPal does this, and there's no way to stop it. It's being sent in the mail or something. No, you'll get your ticket when you get there. If you buy it online, we'll have the information. And then when you come in that morning to the entry tables there, they'll give you your envelope that's got your tickets in it, whatever you had purchased, whether it be the special raffle, the tables, your entry fee, ticket, that kind of stuff. It'll all be in the envelope for you. And they'll just hand you your envelope. You can take it, tell them you paid online, and it's done. But do get you some tables if you're gonna get them now before we run out.
All right, we have a lot of nets that you all can participate in. So we're gonna go over some of those. Diddy, can you cover the MACnet for us, please?
Okay, the magnet, every morning at 9 o'clock, we meet, except every day but Sunday, where you can come on there and let us know what you have plans for the day or what's going on. And it's like I say, every day, in the morning. And then the gossip net is on Tuesday after the Aries net. And that's another one where you can check in and tell us about your plans for the day or what you've been up to and et cetera. And have a lot of fun on all of them. And the magnets could check it in from 30 to just under 40 people at times. So they really getting popular. And that's about it, I guess.
Thank you, Dan. Yeah, we've had a lot of check-ins on the MacNet. That thing is really growing. Okay, and then I'm gonna cover a whole bunch of others. On Tuesday evenings, right before the Gossip Net at 8 PM is the Oklahoma Aries Net. We've had quite a few check-ins, but again, that's every Tuesday at 8 PM. On Mondays at 8 PM is the 6-meter net on 50.2 megahertz. And then on Wednesdays at 8 at 28.445 is the 10-meter net, which competes with McLean County Aries Net, which is Wednesday nights at 8 on their 442.400 machine. And then on Thursday nights, the KD5 UGO Memorial Net, that's at 8 PM on the SCARS UHF machine, the 443.700. And that group is starting to grow a little bit. We've had, y'all should have had you talk about that with Mike. He's one of our, we have 3 net control operators for the UGO there, right? You, me, and Ethan. So I should have had you talk about that. But anyway, we had, I think 13 or 14 last week, so that group is starting to grow a little bit too. And it's, the UGO is kind of a rag chew type net. It has 2 rounds. It's real relaxed. And so we'll go in, we'll have a check-in, and everybody gets to talk about whatever they want to talk about on the second round. And this is a net that Davey set up until he moved away into the Never Land. So,
Hey, I was listening to the last week's Aries Net, sitting at the parking lot at the airport.
yeah.
I couldn't get in it, but I could hear it.
Yeah. So, all right, so, field day is coming up in 2 weeks. We are going to have, Ed mentioned it, testing at 2 PM on that Saturday at field day. So if you all are interested, go to the W5NOR website and you can sign up for testing. And then at 4 PM, we are going to have a ground plane antenna built. This is the antenna that Denny's currently talking off of, or an antenna like Denny's currently talking off of. If y'all check into the MacNet and hear Denny, I mean, you can hear how good this signal is. Great little antenna, super easy to build. $10 a kit. We have a sign up sheet here. If y'all want to do the antenna build, that way we'll make sure we have enough supplies for everybody. And again, it's $10 a kit. And then we are looking, again, this is for field day. The Saturday morning of field day at 8, between 8:30 and 9. If you all can volunteer to help us set up, we could definitely use volunteers. We have a sign up sheet for that. And then more importantly, Sunday, at the end of field day around 12 noon, we need people to help us tear down. So again, we have a sign up sheet for that as well. Let's see. Yes, oh, that's it. That's the other thing. We are looking for, what do you call it? Night operations. People who run the radios overnight. I'm going to sign up for one of the shifts overnight. You know, you can sign up for 30 minutes. You can sign up for 5 hours if you want to. But we
really need the extra help at night too to do it, because it is a 24-hour operation.
And here's something that's cool. You don't have to be a general or an extra to run the radios.
Or license.
Or license. You don't have to be licensed.
No, you're control operators.
I didn't know. Anyway, if you all want to get on the air and talk all over the country, this is a good night to do it. So there's a sign up sheet for that as well. Yes.
New tech sitting back over there in the corner. He wants to talk HF, he can talk HF. During field day, because as control operators, we can let him do voice. He can do digital, he can do CW if he wants to try it. Even as a tech, that gives him a chance to do that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. A great place to start if you're a new ham. Yeah, Dave.
I'm stretching, I'm sorry.
But yeah, it's a great place to start. Yes. Yes, Kim.
This is gonna be, I haven't seen that, but I'm gonna see that.
We need to fill that.
I just got new knees, so this is harder than that. The honor of coordinating CW operations has fallen on me. And since I am a dedicated idiot. I really like it. How many of you know what CW is?
Country and Western.
There you go, Tim. There's a whole.
All right. How many of you know CW? Do not lie about this. If you know it, raise your hand. Ed, stop it. Okay. We're looking for CW operators. For the CW station, which is gonna be out by the fire tower. It'll be used. Yeah, it'll be air conditioned, bug free. You get free food. People come out and are astonished that you can actually copy this by ear, but you do need to be able to copy by ear. Doing it by a computer will not count for this instance. How many of you think that field day is a contest? Oh, I'm gonna disavow you of that misapprehension. It is not.
You're keeping points.
You keep points, but nobody gets any plaques or trophies.
Get recognition.
Well, everybody who participates gets recognition in QST. Doesn't matter whether you're not ranked or anything, there's an alphabetical order. So it's not a contest. It will occasionally run into speed demons. There'll be guys doing, 35 plus words per minute out there. You don't need to go that fast. And if they really want the contact, you will say, please QRS, and they will. So if you know CW and 10 words a minute, anywhere from 10 to 60 or 70 words per minute, you're good. Come out, have some fun. I'm the guy that's kind of taking signups, but I'm not you're not a merchant marine operator, you're not a military operator, we're not gonna do shifts. Come and show up and operate as much as you want and have fun. We're gonna provide a radio, I'm gonna provide paddles, I'll provide the keyer, I'll provide the computer with a logging program on it. I'll actually provide the antenna, we're gonna hang off of the fire tower. What else? Power supply for the radio. The radio will be a TS 590, which is a really good radio for this kind of environment. And just come and have a good time. Eat hot dogs. Just enjoy this, some camaraderie, and enjoy being a bit of a blip jerk. And enjoy the first digital mode. In fact, the first radio. CW was the first digital mode, and it was the first mode used for radio. And the first letter, the first transmission across the Atlantic Ocean was the Morse letter S. It was actually the old Morse letter S, which is just like the current mode. In any event, and it was all done with Spark. We're not doing Spark. We're doing our best to avoid Sparks. So if this comes up, we disconnect all the antennas and throw them outside. You think I'm kidding?
We've done it too many times.
Yeah. Been there, done that, got a T-shirt and an insurance settlement. Do you want to know how big a spark it can make? When you hear thunder, time it. From the moment you begin to hear it,
Right there.
until you don't hear it anymore. Divide that number of seconds by 5. That's how long the lightning channel is in miles.
By the
So,
way, that was planned for you.
Yeah, I did. I have a PhD in meteorology, so yes, so, in any event, come out, have a time, just listen to it.
All right, we got sign-up sheets. Mark Clayton has a handful of radios here that he's trying to sell, a couple of handy talkies and a little mobile unit. So if anybody's interested in picking one up. You have a question?
I also have additional.
You have a digital radio in front of you?
Digital radio.
Oh, additional, okay. Yes, Dean?
Yeah, he did a good job describing the digital radio. How about describing what you're gonna have in your setup?
What was the?
Jim showed him up.
Okay, for the SSB station, it'll be a ICOM 7100 for voice. We're gonna set up a Yaesu, one of the new radios, the 710, which has got great filtering in it for digital. And then as Kim pointed out, we're gonna have the Kenwood TS590. Which is a great radio for CW. And
Did I mention there'd be a wet bar? I did, good, I was wrong.
we're gonna have two dipole antennas for the SSB and the digital, and then we got the off center fed dipole antenna that Kim's bringing to set up for the CW. So it's gonna be a good setup. It is the last weekend this month, 28th and 29th. And you wanna talk about the times for the various things as far as. Okay.
And the sideband and digital is gonna be in Galen's emergency command vehicle out here in the parking lot, so. It's super nice if y'all haven't been there, so if you haven't been to field day, it's a lot of fun.
Yep.
And heck, I made brand new friends from field day and gotten new club members meeting. Oh, free food, yes, there'll be sandwiches at lunchtime on Saturday, burgers and hot dogs or hot links or something like that for dinner, and then like breakfast burritos on Sunday morning, so there's food, so.
David Grizzle cooks a good breakfast.
Well, he's not available, so
Oh.
it's breakfast burritos on that Sunday, so if you need some free food or you're hungry, just come hang out and eat, so. All right, does anybody else have anything else? All right, I appreciate everybody coming. Sign up sheets are here for Bill, setup, tear down, antennas. Yes, yes.
There's a electronics recycling facility up at Edmond, I believe it's on 55 and Memorial Road. They're shutting down, they have like all this old computer gear, tables. Who knows what they've got, but it's all for scrap.
Okay, very good.
So.
All right, appreciate everybody coming. Come sign up and we'll see you next month.
I have a question.
That's right, right? Absolutely.
See you on the Zoom. I was hiding in the back. All those radios stay dry. Oh, yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
Okay. Let me go, I drive you over there. I mean. Right where you are.
I'm gonna have to wait for the rain to stop. So I forgot my jacket. I'll be.